Good morning, everyone, and a warm welcome to this award ceremony of the Women Leadership Programme run by the European Innovation Council, or EIC. As you all know, the EIC aims to identify and support breakthrough technologies and game-changing innovations, while its Women Leadership Programme, or WLP for short, is a new skills initiative providing tailor-made services to EIC-funded women innovators. Among the offered services, the programme comprises 4 complementary activities: mentoring, business coaching, networking events, and different training sessions to prepare the EIC women researchers and innovators with the right tools and skills to climb the business ladder and achieve their goals. The programme was launched in October 2021, and its first cohort of 50 female innovators continued their work until March 2022, so just a few days ago. Today's event gathers inspiring speakers from entrepreneurs to investors, and we will, of course, be hearing from a WLP participant and her mentor to shed light on and celebrate the achievements of this first contingent. Before I go any further, let me introduce myself. I'm Aminda Lee, a journalist and moderator based in Rome, where today the weather is cloudy and about to rain. I'm delighted to be your guide for the next 90 minutes, which will be jam-packed to make the event as dynamic as possible for everyone following online. You can expect a walk through the achievements of the first WLP cohort, speeches from high-level representatives from the European Commission, and a short roundtable exploring how WLP supports female leaders of tomorrow and discussing the state of the art of gender equality at the European level. Between now and 11:30, this award ceremony will give you some insight into the experience of our 50 innovators, showcasing their valuable and fundamental dedication to making this programme a success over the past 6 months. We encourage you, our wonderful audience, to join us in celebrating these 50 women. And one of the ways you can do so is by interacting with us on the YouTube chat. Of course, you can also make your voice heard at any time on social media, for example, Twitter. Please use the hashtag EUEIC. Now, to start us off, we want to find a little bit more about those of you who are tuning in today. And to do this, we'd like you to answer a poll question we have for you. Please do take part. Take a look on the YouTube chat and click on our poll on Mentimeter platform to submit your answer, as we would very much like to know your interest in joining our award ceremony. Once you've logged in, you should be able to see the question, and it's not a difficult one. It's why are you joining us today? And you will be able to choose from the following options. You have to understand what was implemented in the WLP first cohort. You can say that you're a mentor from the WLP programme, or perhaps you are a coach, or maybe you are a WLP participant from the first cohort. Or maybe you want to find out more about female leadership in Europe. Or perhaps you're a member of an organisation engaged with Women Leadership Programme or women leadership in general. Or perhaps you're someone who's interested in joining the next cohort. So we're going to leave this poll open. You can see it on the screens here. And as I say, there's all the information on how to connect. There's also the website and the code as well. You can see up on the top of your screen. You can go to www.menti.com, and the code you need to put in is 71305. All that information is also in the YouTube channel. You should be able to see it. So I'm going to give you some time to be able to log in and to cast your votes. We're going to leave that poll running for a moment, and then we'll be, after we've heard this, we'll be moving on to start our actual ceremony in a moment or two. While you're voting, I'd like to give you some figures to show just how important it is to nurture women leaders in innovation and technology. Overall, 16% of startups in Europe have at least one woman as the founder or co-founder, while under 6% only have female founders. In the meantime, only 9% of partners in venture capital are women, and we'll actually be hearing from someone in that tough field a little bit later on. In the tech sector, only 2 in 10 ICT specialists are women, and women represent less than a quarter of self-employed professionals in science and engineering and ITC at the EU 27 level. Well, I can see that voting is starting to come in. Thank you for casting your votes here. That's great. We obviously have the big one, which is actually in the middle of the screen, and I'm just trying to see which one that one actually is. Because the writing is incredibly small with 58%. We've got a clear overall one that's standing out over here, and I think it's the I am a coach, or maybe it's you are a WLP participant from the first cohort. Well, welcome to you all. That's great that you have us online. This is to celebrate you, so it's wonderful that so many of you are actually joining us today. The next one that we have is we also have quite a few mentors seem to be tuning in, which is great. And we also have some people who want to understand what was implemented in the first cohort. Well, we will certainly be able to be telling you a little bit about that over the next hour or so. I think we will now close that voting. Thank you. We also did have some people there, 4%, who wanted to join the new cohort. We'll be telling you how you'll be able to find out more information on that very soon. So the facts I was telling you as you were voting show that there is a lot of work to be done. But luckily, initiatives such as the EIC's Women Leadership Programme aim to change the figures in the industry and get much more representation into the future. Thank you for your votes in our poll, and we hope that this ceremony meets your goals and you find it interesting. And now I'm actually delighted to announce our first speaker, who's going to join us in a few seconds to open our awards ceremony of the first cohort of the EIC Women Leadership Programme. And I have a very warm welcome for our high-profile speaker, Joanna Drake, who is Deputy Director General for Implementation, Impact and Sustainable Investment Strategies at the DG for Research and Innovation at the European Commission. Welcome, Joanna Drake. I invite you to be our official opener for this special event and address your welcome words to our audience and more specifically to the 50 innovators of the Women Leadership Programme, the first cohort. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Aminta, and good morning, everyone. Good morning, friends. Very much of an honor to welcome you to this award ceremony of the European Innovation Council first Women Leadership Programme. And I'm very happy to have the opportunity to congratulate you first. Many more will follow in the next an hour and a half, actually. So first of all, to the 50 participants of the programme, congratulations for your accomplishments. You were selected amongst 208 candidates to be the first of many taking part in this leadership programme. You responded to the call and you were selected because of your entrepreneurial spirit, your high motivation and your curiosity-driven mind. Thank you so much for trusting us and also the programme. And now a word to the mentors. Congratulations for your commitment. And also thank you for your generously sharing your experiences, your knowledge, your networks and your time with the candidates. You are vital in making this program a valuable experience for our women, innovators and leaders. And I am sure that you have developed sincere relationships, which will in many cases run even beyond the program, I am sure. Some words about gender equality and research and innovation. The European Commission is committed to promoting gender equality in all sectors, and of course in research and innovation as well. And to this end, we are calling for coordinated actions amongst member states, but we are also leading by example in our framework research program. Gender equality is a priority of the European research area. The so-called Action 12 asks the EU and its member states to develop concrete plans to promote gender equality, diversity, and inclusiveness in science, in research, and in innovation. We have the Pact for Research and Innovation in Europe. This also sets gender equality, equal opportunities, and inclusiveness as a value and a principle of European research. Allow me also to mention briefly what we do on the Horizon Europe in order to promote institutional change towards gender equality. First of all public bodies, research and higher education institutions must have an implementable gender equality plan to be eligible for EU funding. Secondly, the integration of the gender dimension in research and innovation content is a requirement by default. It is a part of the evaluation of proposals under the excellence criterion. Thirdly, very similar to the European Innovation Council, we have also introduced a target, and the target is 50% women in Horizon Europe related boards, expert groups, and evaluation committees. This is how we also want to lead by example for other public and private institutions across the whole of the European Union. Through our own funding programs, we aim to better integrate a gender dimension in funded research. We are conducting excellent research by all and for all. But this does not only mean a preference for gender diverse and inclusive teams, it also puts forward the requirement that innovation equally serves men and women. Furthermore, specific funding is dedicated to gender and intersectional research, in particular under Cluster 2 of the programme Culture, Creativity and Inclusive Society. The 2021 topic on Feminisms for a New Age of Democracy is the topic which received the highest number of proposals amongst all 2021 topics for the democracy and governance funding destination of Cluster 2. Developing inclusive gender equality policies in support of the new European research area through the widening participation and strengthening the European research area, the WIDERA programme part, reforming and enhancing the European research and innovation system, and also empowering women innovators, in particular through Pillar 3 of the programme Innovative Europe and the European Innovation Council. But female talent itself is crucial for Europe. Companies with diverse research and managing teams tend to develop more disruptive and breakthrough innovations that better corresponds with the needs of the whole society. This is a double win for the companies increasing profits and for society too. However, our latest She Figures study, released in October last year, shows that only 5% of the leadership positions in the tech sectors are held by women. And the balance is even worse in hard tech companies dominating our EIC portfolio, where, for instance, female-only led teams comprise less than 2% of all robotic companies and get 1% of all capital. Obviously, these figures need to be improved and quickly. For every woman that does not have the opportunity to launch and lead a tech company, Europe loses out. We all lose out on talent, on diversity. But also, it results in missed opportunities in the wider sense for our economy, for its growth, for its resilience. This we cannot accept. The EIC Women Leadership Programme was created with the objective to give exposures to role models, provide visibility to our participants, and expand their business networks. The programme tried to cater for different career goals of women in the EIC community. Women in management positions who want to strengthen their skills and expand their network, women within established companies aspiring to take over leadership positions in business development, and also women researchers and innovators who want to start or scale their business. It allowed you to attend profile-based and tailored training sessions in personal branding, pitching, negotiation, and leadership styles. Each participant also worked with an EIC business coach to help identify new business opportunities, overcome existing challenges, and set the next steps. And it gave you the opportunity to connect and build personal relationships with mentors across sectors and countries. This is only the beginning. We need you, women innovators, to keep going. If needed, please make use of the additional complementary measures the Commission in general and the EIC in particular put at your service, such as the Women Tech EU or the EU Prize for Women Innovators, both initiatives open for applications. And please help also spreading the word, helping other women, helping us multiply the effect of the efforts done by the institutions. Follow and join our communication campaigns, such as the @SheYouLeads, launched by our Commissioner of Research and Innovation. This campaign aims to make the achievements of girls and young women in the EU more visible and inspire them to follow a career of their dreams. Our final goal is to bring more deep tech women into the European innovation ecosystem. We want to fund business led by women. We want to create networks and showcase role models for the generations to come. Some final remarks. We all know that reaching our career goals is not easy. It has never been. But there will undoubtedly be obstacles, especially if you are in a minority, if you are not well connected, and even worse, if you're a complete outsider. But if I may, allow me 2 pieces of advice. The first, continue to aim high. Do not let the obstacles lower your level of ambition. Look for references. Don't be afraid to test new ways of doing things. Follow your vision and work hard to achieve it. Second piece of advice, ask and accept help. Accept additional wind power to accelerate your speed from others who are willing to help. Look for mentors, develop your connections, and build a network. We from the European Commission are working to come up with initiatives that will help you lead. You will hear from many of them later today. But allow me to conclude with a final thank you to all participants, mentors, and trainers for your involvement in the program. I hope when looking back, you will be able to talk about the EIC Women Leadership Program as the tool that changed your career for the better. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Joanna, for opening the event and for that incredibly valuable advice and the inspiring words. It really is very clear that female management is crucial for the future going forward in Europe. And if you do want to spread the word about what you're hearing today, don't forget that on Twitter, you can use the hashtag EUEIC. So joining us in a moment, we're going to have a speaker who will be giving us a holistic view of the needs of the female entrepreneurs and researchers and illustrate how they were addressed in the past 6 months of activities within the first cohort of the programme. So now to walk us and talk us through the Women in Leadership programme, we have the Deputy Head of the Transition Activities and Business Acceleration Services Unit, Veronica Benatis.
Thank you very much, Aminda.
Veronica, welcome to our awards ceremony. So, being a woman expert and working with the research and social sciences since 2019, you've been working under research and innovation at the Commission, dedicating your time to valorization policies and intellectual property rights. Following up on what the EIC successfully delivered with the first cohort of the WAP, what is the overall feeling about this initiative?
We have the feeling that we have really accomplished what we wanted to do as a first step, because we aim that this program will be a long-lasting program. So as Joanna has just mentioned, this is the first step. We try to put together a set of actions that will really help the women, but they also have to walk now with all the knowledge that they have carried from the program ahead in order to make a real impact. So we are really aiming higher in the impact. This is the first step, and we want to go as far as possible. We want this to be a reference point.
Well, now we're going to hear a little bit more in detail about what happened over the last 6 months and the activities and services delivered. Everyone following this ceremony, feel free to post your comments in the YouTube chat. We'll be monitoring it and keeping an eye on what you're saying. So now, Veronica, please do tell us more. What has happened over the last 6 months?
Okay, thank you very much. So, Manuel, if you put the presentation. First of all, I would like to thank the audience and the participants of the first cohort of the Women Leadership Program of the European Innovation Council for being here today. It's really my pleasure to be here and walk you through the achievements of this program. The European Innovation Council is very happy to deliver this skills enhancement initiative, hoping to attend our female entrepreneurs and researchers' needs. As you know, and we have heard, women-led companies are on the rise, and the EIC wants to proactively help them grow, both with financial support, but also putting in place non-financial services such as this program. The EIC designed the Women Leadership Program aiming to level the playing field in scalable business and mindsets by unlocking potential and breaking down barriers to success. Next slide, please. I want now to show you some features and elements of our program, in addition to the deliverables and results of the first cohort that took place between October 2021 and March 2022. Let me start by briefly explaining you an overview of what was the program. You can see on the left side of my slide what the EIC wanted to achieve by delivering the program. Since the first day, the strategic driver of our program was our willingness to improve the participants' business skills and promote their networking beyond the EIC community. In doing so, the EIC is really seeking to increase the number of women-led companies created and succeeding in business, to push the participants of the program to ascend to senior and management positions, to help EIC female beneficiaries creating spin-offs and spin-outs, to raise investment rounds, IPOs, and other deals, and to increase diversity in innovation and tech. Among the service offered to meet this goal, the Women Leadership Program delivered personal mentoring, business coaching, in addition to networking events and different training sessions. All these to prepare our EIC women beneficiaries and innovators with the right tools and skills to climb the business ladder and achieve their goals. The first cohort of the Women Leadership Program was launched the 7th of October 2021 in a great virtual session that counted with Maria Gabriel, the European Commissioner for Innovation, Research, Culture, Education and Youth, and with Jan David Malo, the Director of the European Innovation Council and SME Executive Agency, who will also join later today to congratulate you on your achievements. We introduced the program to the wider audience, presented testimonials from entrepreneurs, researchers, and other female role models, in addition to a round table where we could really discuss issues related to women leadership. For the launching event, we had more than 1,000 views. Next slide, please. Now, let's talk about people and the participants in the process. The EIC sees people as key and as the agents of change we need to deliver. Collaboration is essential to innovate, growth, and remain competitive for female innovators. Our open call for participants to join the first cohort received more than 200 applications in the period of June and July last year. Their candidatures were evaluated by experienced external evaluators that assessed and ranked their applications based on criteria such as background experience, diversity of work sectors, professional aspirations, career challenges, and motivation to join the program. Our 50 approved female innovators came from 18 different countries, as you can see in this detailed map, ensuring diversity of location and having Portugal, Spain, and Italy leading. In terms of profile, our first cohort counted with 30 company leaders, 16 researchers looking for a leadership position as innovator or entrepreneur, and 4 company members aspiring a leadership position. This diversity of background experience was also a key success factor to enrich discussion and interaction among the group. The next slide, I want to talk about the specific information and data from our first cohort, starting with the mentoring scheme. Support and advice from someone who has already walked a mile on your shoes can be a valuable incentive to go in the right direction. With this in mind, the European Innovation Council Women Leadership Programme offered to our 50 participants the chance to choose an experienced and trusted mentor. The pool of mentors for the program includes experienced entrepreneurs, investors, innovators, and senior managers who were keen to share their extensive managerial experience and provide access to their diverse professional networks. Thank you, mentors, for your time and involvement in this project. Our first call for mentor was launched in March 2021 and received almost 500 applications. To create the pool of mentors, we verified the applications by looking at the CVs, and we selected applicants that had extensive managerial experience, extensive and diverse professional network, and experience in dealing with multiple issues in a fast-paced growth environment. 248 of those applicants were approved, and finally 213 mentors joined our matching platform to connect with the 50 female participants. The pool of mentors of the first cohort is mainly focused on engineering and tech, ICT, health and education and culture. And our mentors come from more than 30 different countries. From these, 44 mentors were chosen to be paired with our participants, considering that one mentor can have 2 mentees at the same time. After this fair cutoff, we kept on receiving applications to become a WLP mentor. The open call for mentors is closed now due to the high number of applications, but please stay tuned because we might open it again next year. We are now evaluating more than 100 applications from CVs of potential mentors to be included in our pool of mentors for the second cohort of the program. The matching process between mentors and participants was carried out with success in our dedicated page B2Match platform. After the pairing process was concluded, we delivered, together with our partners from European Women on Boards, a workshop dedicated to all 44 mentors. In this session, mentors had the opportunity to network among themselves and reinforce the value of mentoring by getting innovative perspectives on the role of mentor and the mentee, in addition to collect ideas on how to plan these activities, the program rules, and possible areas of development. During the past 6 months, mentors helped participants to define their career path, overcome the existing challenges, and set the next steps to increase their participation in business, innovation, and tech arena. At the final stage, we are now assessing the mentoring scheme impact in the lives of our participants by collecting detailed reports of the past 6 months. The reports will also help us to get feedback to improve the implementation of these activities for the next cohorts. Another element of our Women Leadership Program was the business coaching scheme. Each participant started the journey with a business coach whose task is to help researchers to discover their innovations opportunities and provide insights into their entrepreneur potential, and to help companies members to improve their business plans, implementation strategies, and market entry. The EIC Women Leadership Program has a group of 350 EIC business coaches from a diverse set of background and with extensive coaching experience. The coaching scheme followed a very similar principle of the mentoring scheme. Each participant had the opportunity to scout and select coaches from the pool. They were paired and they scheduled regular meetings to follow up on the progress. In that activity, the paired coaches will continue to coach the participants until December. So it's one of the activities that it's still running from the program. I would like to display now some details about the training and networking events. Throughout the first cohort implementation, a set of training and networking events were organized to answer the needs expressed by the participants when they applied to join our program. These sessions were delivered every month, 1 or 2 sessions, and focused on manifold topics like negotiating and strategic partnerships, team management, leadership strategies, and others, as you can see in the slide. By designing their own journey of topics, starting from fundamental to specific, the participants had the sense of ownership of their participation and could benefit from what was needed to overcome their challenges. In total, we delivered 8 training and networking events with experts in each topic. Networking events were combined with these sessions and counted with testimonials of keynote speakers, a valuable contribution to the session and adding to the component of leadership strategy and developing. Also, networking is very important to strengthen your professional network by increasing career and business opportunities, anticipating change, staying on top of the latest trends, and raise visibility. A good network is probably one of the most powerful tools to dispose of as a leader. The European Innovation Council Women Leadership Program partnered in the last 6 months with very bright experts in each of the 8 topics, as you can see here. I would like to personally express my gratitude to all of these key partners. Impulse for Women, IBAN, W Lounge, ADACOM, Chris Kirby and Andreas Preus for our EIC coaches, the Do School, BPI France, Women Breakfast Club, and Odra Shalal. We are extremely glad to conclude the first cohort, and the main reason for the great success has been the people. Here you can see the family photos we took during each of the 8 training sessions and networking events. Congratulations again to our 50 innovators on your extraordinary achievements and commitment towards a more inclusive research and innovation environment. In addition to the 8 sessions, we implemented an extra hybrid event session during the last year's EIC Summit in Brussels. Participants of the first cohort joined in person and virtually to attend our roundtable named Dialogue of Confidence, How to Elevate Gender Equality in Tech Leadership, that addressed topics such as participation of women in the innovation, tech, and business areas. The female speakers had the chance to share their testimonial, talking about their biggest fear in the business scenario, accomplishments during their career, failures they have learned from, and the importance of programs such as WLP in overcoming these challenges. A final element that the program is working now is to establish an alumni group for the participants of the first cohort. To ensure the continued networking and share of relevant news, projects, and initiatives, the most important is the future peer-to-peer support. And for that, the European Innovation Council is securing a private group in the EIC community platform. This alumni group is specifically designed to be the virtual space where the 50 innovators can meet and discuss relevant topics to continue their partnership and network. I would like to share now a little overview of the results we got from our impact assessment with the 50 participants of our first cohort. We gave them the opportunity to fill in a survey and share how they understand their own personal evolution on the 8 specific skills addressed in the past 6 months, comparing the before and after their attendance to our services. As you can see in the graph, the red lines represent how they analyze their skills before the program, and the purple lines shows how they show their skills have grown from a scale from 0 to 10 after the participation in the program. Participants overall consider that their skills have improved with the help of the program, especially in personal leadership and creating and scaling up company. These are great numbers for the program, but as I said before, we expect the program to have even more impactful long-term effects. To conclude my intervention, I would like now to talk about the next steps of the program. As you may know, the EIC will implement a second cohort that begins its activities by next month. To select participants to join, we launch an open call for participants with a research profile. EIC beneficiaries and also EIT community will be able to apply. Here in the right of the slide, you can see the timeline of the next steps. We have the application open for participants until the 11th of April. In April, we will carry on the evaluation of applications and we will communicate the results. We will launch the second cohort of the Women Leadership Program in May. That will be running until October 2022. And in November, we hope we will be hosting this award ceremony for the participants of the second cohort. This second cohort program will be composed of approved EIC researchers that apply via this open call, also the Women Tech EU winners and the EIT researchers. If you're a female innovator beneficiary from the EIC or from the EIT community, I would like very much to encourage you to check our open call details and apply. The link is posted in the YouTube channel chat box. Please read carefully and contact our help desk service if you have further questions. I will end my presentation now with some final words to our 50 female innovators that joined the first cohort of the EIC Women Leadership Program. This amazing accomplishment is just one step on your journey. Your ability to relentlessly search for solutions to problems and find innovative ways to improve the world is the key to this success and many to come. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Veronica. And let me take this opportunity to highlight the great commitment that the 50 ladies have shown over the past 6 months and how much knowledge and support has been given to them. Well done to those ladies and congratulations on your achievements. Even though the program is now over for you, we do hope that you will keep that valuable networking going with your alumni group on the EIC community platform. Thank you again, Veronica, for the great presentation and for giving us such a good look at what happened over the last 6 months. Dear audience, please don't forget to tweet and celebrate our female innovators from the EIC WLP first cohort using the hashtag EUEIC. We are keeping an eye on your posts. And of course, do feel free to post in the chat on YouTube. Now, our award ceremony is going to open up a great space now for multiple thoughts in a roundtable discussion to address female leadership, its accomplishments, and future gender equality at the European level. The discussions are going to feature exciting speakers from very diverse backgrounds, all connected directly with supporting female leadership and innovation. We're going to start with an intro for the first 2 people in our next group of speakers who will join me to map out the topic of female leadership. And who better to talk about the WLP activities than our participant herself? And we're going to start by hearing from Maria Fatima Lucas, who was a participant from the first cohort, and she's co-founder and CEO at Zymvol. Maria, your background in computational chemistry and considerable experience of more than 20 years working with protein science, you co-founded Zymvol, which is a biotech startup specialized in enzyme development and design through computer simulation. On top of that, in 2020, you were one of the winners of the EU Women Innovators Award. So I'd like to start by asking you to share a little bit about your career path and telling us about Zymvol and the impact that the WLP has had on your life as a female innovator.
Good morning, Amanda. Thank you so much for the introduction and thank you for inviting me because this has been an amazing experience. So indeed, as you've mentioned, and I want to begin by also voicing my thanks to the EIC for creating this program that had a huge impact not only in my personal but also in my professional career. And I think I talk for all the women that were part of this first cohort. Thank you so much, because this was an incredible initiative, and I hope you do continue for many years and don't stop this program, because many more women should benefit from everything that you're doing. So very quickly, I am indeed one of the co-founders and also CEO at Symbol. Our company specializes in providing services to help create green chemistry. So we develop enzymes, which are biocatalysts that basically accelerate chemical reactions. And my entry in the company and the way it all evolves is I think common to many other women in this program, which is I was a scientist, we had an idea, and we decided to put together a company. And we've been successful in bringing the right people and the right expertise into the company to actually lead it to what we are now, which is a 5-year-old company that I think is being quite successful. Now, it's very interesting because we've also been fortunate to be awarded an EIC at that time called SME Phase 2 grant, which not only supported our business, but more importantly, it also provided services similar to what you are implementing now. So already at that time, I had the opportunity to work with a mentor, which at that time actually worked with the whole team. And we asked for support in building a team because we were highly efficient professionals working together, but not working as a team. So already there, we saw the importance of actually working with mentors that could support our growth as a company and also as individuals. In terms of what is the Woman Leadership Program, I think there are mainly 4 points that I need to mention, which were fundamental. Klaus, who is here today, which is my personal mentor that has had an impact not only in the technical and personal skills that I've learned from him, but also the support to help build confidence, which at the end of the day is also very important, way more than sometimes we think about. But also, of course, the sessions, which Veronica already mentioned, the sessions with experts touching different topics which are fundamental for our growth as leaders. The other women, I cannot not talk about the other women leaders in this program, because the networking and also listening to their problems and understanding that we're not alone, that we all share similar problems, that was also very important. And of course, the business coach. So I've been very fortunate to find a person that has actually had past experience of also building an enzyme company, making it successful, and finally selling it. And I have that business coach working with me. So there are so many points that I really can't say it's just one thing. There are many aspects that have made this program so important for me.
Interesting what you say, the fact that you'd already had experience working the mentor, but perhaps not in that one-to-one level. Thank you for describing that. Interesting also what you say about the support of the other women and how that was very important to share that journey together and share those experiences. Thank you for being here today and representing your 49 peers from the first cohort and telling us your experience. Klaus, obviously we want to hear from you now. What was the experience like from your side of working with Maria and working on this program and obviously undertaking this key pro bono, let's remember, activity with Maria?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you very much for allowing me to be a part of this program. And thank you very much for the Commission, EIC, and Women Leadership Program to actually initiate this. I think it's extremely important. We have had quite some input already from, for example, Joanna. There needs to be an emphasis on supporting women leadership that goes beyond what has been done in the past. I've been a mentor for a long period of time, many years. And I always felt that women needed to be supported in terms of gender equity, gender equality. And this is an opportunity to show that commitment to participate. It's also more than just contributing, it's a great benefit for somebody who's a mentor. It's a learning experience working together with Maria. I have seen aspects that I did not experience in the past directly. And I think we could combine our experience to hopefully help in furthering Maria's success and to supporting her in developing what she has as aspirations for her company and for her personally. This is also supported by the training, and the training was very helpful. I mean, being an experienced mentor, I thought, well, okay, what am I going to learn? But I learned quite a bit, and I can only recommend it. Like a focus on goal setting, making sure that continuous progress is being monitored, and you're not just talking about things that came up yesterday. And yeah, having 4-minute updates that really are relevant for what can be done in terms of skills, in terms of behaviors, and not just business items that came up. So I think I'm going to leave it with that. So a great experience. I'm very thankful. To some experience, this is the only experience today. But there are basically only women on the program, and there are many women also participating and listening. And I think we'll have a chance to talk about the role that men can play in supporting the program a little later.
Maria, maybe you want to come in and react to what Klaus has said. I mean, it's interesting to hear that, Klaus, you also came away with something from it, because we only think of it as a one-directional thing. So it's interesting you had something. Maria, for you, the special value of working together with Klaus, what can you give us some idea of some of the practical things or some of the key things that he helped you that are going to take you to the next level and beyond?
Certainly. Actually, I would like to build on what Klaus just mentioned. So even from the beginning, when I was selecting my mentor, I was posed with the question of, should I select a woman or a man mentor? Because it's not easy, right? And ultimately, I chose Klaus because I read his CV, I read his past experience, and I thought, for sure, I'm going to learn a lot from him, but I've also learned his vision of how to implement, because Klaus actually has prior experience of working in a large corporation where gender equality policies needed to be implemented. And he faced these difficulties already. And one of the things, for instance, that I've just asked very recently to Klaus in one of our last meetings was, Klaus, will you please continue working with me? Because I also want our company to have strong policies in gender equality. And it's not just about doing what is the politically correct. And Joanna mentioned this before. It's about numbers. It's about when you have diversity in your team, you're actually able to achieve a better performing team and better business results. So Klaus has been able to show this to me from his past experience. So it has been an extremely enriching experience working with Klaus, because it's not just the obvious things, it's his own experience. And yes, for me, it was also important to see from a man's point of view what needs to be done, because this is not only a woman's problem, it's a global problem in all companies. And we need the support also from men to understand that if we want to change and if we want to have diverse teams, we're not a minority. We're 50% of the population. So it's been really very, very supporting to work with Klaus and having his vision also as a man in a society which is obviously still in need of a lot of change.
Klaus, do you want to maybe highlight some of the specific things that you covered with Maria, or specific common challenges that you see to women who are trying to get on a leadership level, since you have such expertise in this?
Yeah, since we're so used to having a conversation, I can certainly do that. The interesting part is to listen carefully. Obviously, if you have experience, the tendency could be to communicate that experience no matter what. But to have the chance to listen and then transfer the experience into the situation that Maria and the mentees are in particular is the interesting challenge. That makes it an interesting program. You're not just preaching old stuff. You're trying to transfer what you have learned and hopefully help in developing. What is important is this is about skills. It's about behaviors, it's about competencies. And I think that probably many pairings have the experience that you always start with business challenges, but you need to go beyond that, because mentoring is about skills and competencies and behaviors. And obviously, you need to develop a level of trust before you can touch these. They're personal, huh? Then to some extent you need to trust each other, otherwise you wouldn't do that. And it was a great experience to develop that level of trust with Maria and then work on concrete topics, on aspirations and challenges that Maria voiced. So it was not just a general thing, it was very focused.
Okay, Maria, I don't know if you want to just give us like one thing of that specific, just to give us an idea of the kinds of things you worked on with Klaus. Just tell us one of them.
Definitely. Legacy. So what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Klaus made me look at where I dedicate my time every week, really understand where all my time is being used, and if an enough amount of time is actually being dedicated to my long-term goals. So that was very, very useful. And I realized that, even though I have that goal, I'm not working toward it. So that's very important.
Very important indeed. In fact, I think I would like some advice from Klaus on that. I think we all have trouble about spending time doing the wrong things. Thank you very much to both of you for being with us. And let's now see the other guests who are going to be here in our roundtable. We should be by the...
Hi there.
Okay, and so I can see our expert speakers on the screen with me. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to start by introducing Bettina Schmitz, who is the founding and general partner of AUXO, which is a female catalyst fund. Now, Bettina, you have 15 years of experience in venture capital, product management and consulting, with a background in mathematics and a master's in European business. Can you tell us a little bit more about the work done by AUXO on backing female founders?
Yes, absolutely. So right now we're we launched last summer the AUXO Female Catalyst Fund, and I love that you say we launched a female catalyst fund, because we actually came up with that name. So it's great to hear that it's become a category as such, and that's actually kind of our aim as well. That there are going to be lots of funds like ours to really give female founders that extra push that unfortunately we still need. But before we started launching the fund, we were active business angels. So we got together as a group, there's 3 of us, and started angel investing together. We don't have like the deepest pockets in the world, so it was a really good idea for us to get together. And but from the very beginning, it was really clear to us that this is a space where we could really have a cool impact. So we very quickly started setting up WhatsApp group with other female business angels, because they're really not organized. So we got people together and brought some organization and like deal sharing into the scene, because we realized that a lot of guys were doing exactly this, and this is how the deals were working. So we really believe that it's all about sharing. So we started just being super active mentors as well, and just doing everything we could to get more female investors into the scene and more female founders. My partner also got very active politically in Germany about this. So active on all fronts to make sure that we get more female founders funded. And we really strongly believe that this is only possible if we have more female investors.
And is there interest in this?
Yes, huge.
You talk about the men sharing as well. I mean, are they also willing to share? Are they open to that?
Totally. And I think this is one of the things, like, I don't know, people, I sometimes think that people want us to be like all super gloomy about this. The men are so horrible. They're really not. They really want to, like, there are some that are sort of rejecting this, but the vast majority is really into this as well. And they're so happy to have found like us also as a channel to get involved and have an impact. So that's for us, like just purely our interest. Super nice because we can provide this place where they can get involved and help. So I guess like looking at our LP base, so our LPs are the investors in our fund, just to clear up the lingo. So in our LP base, we have a lot of the biggest VC funds in Germany, and kind of especially the male ones, the very male ones. There are a couple that didn't join the round, didn't join the fund, but a vast majority did, and this is a really cool sign for us. And they really do share deals. They make sure that we do get into deals when there is an opportunity. So, and I guess it's because we've managed to create this really, like, I don't know, this flywheel of mutual support, which is really nice and people want to be part of. And we also have a lot of the kind of very male scene entrepreneurs that are in our fund, and especially that is a very close-knit scene. So in Germany, it's very much dominated by all the legacy of Rocket Internet. So it's all these guys, and it was you can say lots of things about this organization, but it created a lot of very wealthy entrepreneurs and people with great experience, but they were mostly male. So we are really glad that we got that whole scene involved, because they all know that it's a problem. So the feedback has been really great.
Interesting. Okay, good. Well, it's good that we're breaking into those worlds too, which have always seemed pretty impossible. So that's very encouraging.
Yeah. And it's only possible if you're super collaborative. I think that's the most important thing.
Absolutely, and sharing, as you said, sharing that knowledge. Now, I'm conscious that we also have our fourth speaker on the screen, who I'd now like to welcome in our roundtable discussion, Selma Brodanovic. You're Vice President of EBAN, and you're often referred to as the startup Grand Dame, since you're one of the most influential women in early stage investing in Europe. Thanks to your mission to empower women with an experience in the startup world and its fundraising process, you were listed as one of Europe's top 100 most influential women in the startup and venture capital space this year. So can you just share us a little bit about your work to break the bias in this field that we've heard is pretty male dominated, and how you help empower women?
Thank you very much, Aminda. It's awesome to be here today with all of you. And I would like to go back to what Joanna Drake said at the very beginning, congratulating all the participants for their courage to show up and to be part of the first cohort. I think that's the main part, and that is the main message we have to give everybody. It is about being having the courage or daring to go and take the first step to do so, whatever that is, and in this case is really. I would like to go back also to what Bettina just said in terms of what the discussion is, that we see that that we need to have more female entrepreneurs and that is an issue, that is a problem. Well, the point is, it's not a problem. It is an investment opportunity. That's my message to the whole story. I just published an article about the gender bias and how it is influencing investors because they are not using the best opportunities. Much of the research that we have seen shows that basically for every dollar invested into startups, the female-led startups create double the revenue. The first round capital, they found that from the money invested into their startups, the female-led startups performed 63% better than the male-led startups. So when you look at that, you would think that investors would tend to invest into female-led startups. That would be the logical thing, because that's their purpose, is to create as much return on their investment. But that's not the case that it was mentioned. In Europe, it is less than 1% of the VC money is invested into female-led startups. So this is exactly what I'm trying to do in my different roles, in my positions, and showing up and talking about it, but also in various occasions where I'm as a keynote speaker at big and smaller events, and making sure that we speak up and that I use my voice to talk about it, not if we speak about it as a problem, people don't react to it. If we speak about it like it's a nice thing to have and it would be fair, we don't see anything. We need to talk about it as an opportunity. It is an investment opportunity, and that's how we need to, see it and show it. And that's when things are going to move. And the same way, Bettina, as you just said, you have this male-led LPs that are investing in your fund. No wonder. I mean, most probably the performance of your fund is going to be better than the average performance. So, I mean, that's just the logical thing to do.
Yeah, so we see exactly the same thing. So when we so the story that we went out into the market was that, like, this is a really great asset class that people should just go into.
Yes.
And that's the story that works. And I think my most sad sentence is, I don't, in German it's fördern, it's like support. I don't support female founders. I have the huge privilege that these awesome women take us into their deals.
Yes. Exactly. And that's the change in language we need to put into the whole story. The same way we were discussing earlier, and also Klaus was talking about, how, and we need to, and it was before, the skill enhancement. These are all things that men and women need in terms of starting a business and creating a business. This is the same everywhere. What we need is a different language and a different approach to attract more women, to see that as opportunity, but also to showcase with facts and figures, numbers, that this is the best case to do.
I think it's actually amazing what you just said about the fact that female-founded startups have double the revenue.
They generate double the revenue, yeah.
That is just an incredible fact that really, should be, shouted from the rooftops, I think.
So you can, it's just published, it's been published on our EBAN website, eban.org. You can look at it, and, and there's a lot of things that I'm talking about, the strategies, how to develop and things like that, that you can look up to. I'm talking about the business Angelina effect. So how much difference it makes when you have women on board. The same way we were discussing about how it's important on the corporate level to have the gender balance. We need that also in terms of the investors. So we need to have a gender balance in terms of the experiences, approaches, also on the investor side. And these are, a lot of I'm spending a lot of time on that because I believe it's really a great opportunity, and I love doing it. So you can look at some of the articles on the eban.org website.
Great. Okay. Bettina, what type of challenges are you coming across that are stopping female founders when they're designing their fundraising strategies? And how can your company, how is it helping them and helping to empower them in that?
Yeah, so I think we do mainly two things. So one is, just to be clear, we only fund really hardcore venture capital cases. So a lot of the female entrepreneurs aren't very relevant to us, or in general, entrepreneurs aren't very relevant to us. But what we really try to do is, in all the deal flow that we see, and we get so much, to make sure we spot the ones that don't make themselves look like a VC case, but are a VC case. So the cases that do have hyper growth potential. And classic mistakes we see in the pitch decks are that they put in a revenue projection. And then when I challenge them, that's really too small for what we're doing. It's yeah, but we didn't want to overpromise. It's just don't put the projection in. Just go for the vision. You don't know how much revenue you're going to make. If you go for a really huge market, the sky's your limit. So, and this is I would love to see, I don't think there are any statistics on this, but I would love to see how many female sent pitch decks include 5-year projections versus male. And the one advice I always give, take the 5-year projection out. In the general VC decks, you never see them. So this is one thing. We really just do tiny tweaks and make sure that they frame the way they pitch their company in a way that is relevant if we see the business as a relevant one. And on the other hand, we open networks that they might not necessarily have. So what happens a lot with deals is that we are the first person to ever see this deal in terms of investors or first VC investors. And then what we do, we go and say hey, look, tweak this, tweak this, tweak this. And then we distribute to the VCs. And this is kind of the role that we're taking in the ecosystem. So I guess this is like the kind of cases where we really enable companies that would otherwise stumble across issues in terms of network and how they phrase their things. But on the other hand, what we do is we also just join deals. Because the founders, even if they are already completely VC ready and they have all the right materials, they have spoken to the right people, they still want female representation in their shareholder tables, in their shareholder circles. And just to be understood, to have a voice there, to have someone that's a bit maybe closer. And that's also another benefit that we create, because often these women are just faced with all men.
Thank you. Interesting. Salma, I want to hear a little bit more, because you were a trainer on the Women Leadership Program, and you were involved in various courses. For example, how early stage fundraising will help you master your decision-making and negotiation skills. How did you enjoy this experience, and what was it like being in contact with this great cohort of 50 women at the WLP?
I must admit, I love it. I just love working with entrepreneurs. I'm a very lucky person. I spend 99% of my time with people who are active, proactive, want to change things, want to do things. And then to be in a group of 50 amazing women is just inspiring. And it gives me, the energy and the motivation and inspiration. And I believe it was a really an important thing to work with them, because the way I tweaked the whole training was really from the female perspective. So it is about, very hard, the skills of negotiation, fundraising, and all of this, but it is now looking at it from a female perspective. And one has to be aware, the women that were part of this cohort are still the exception. I mean, we have to know that this is still, as a female founder, you're still the exception out there. But I don't see that as a problem. I see that, you have to be aware of it, embrace it, and love it. I mean, you're out there, you're exceptional, and just, make the best out of it. And I try to make it really an important part of it. And also, as Klaus has earlier mentioned, and Maria, it's about the combining the things of the business and the personal. I've worked with I personally mentored and coached over 500 founders, male and female, and I've seen how, all the things that work and things that don't work, and myself also, doing all the mistakes that an entrepreneur can make while, building your business. And it was also looking at the skills and how we can transfer the knowledge from different parts. So one of the topics I was talking about is looking at the lessons learned from motherhood and startups. So me as a mother and as a startup founder, what I've learned, and where you can take those things that I can use into creating the next business. And, it was inspired by one story that a colleague of mine was talking about, how he went to a leadership seminar, and part of that was they would wake them up in the middle of the night several times. They were supposed to deliver. And I was like, hey, man, I mean, I did that for years while my kids were small, when I had babies. And then I started to think on how many things, can we learn from what we have as an experience, for example, through the motherhood. What we can use, in terms of crisis management, time management, negotiation skills, all of these things, we learn them in our private life, and how can we transfer that? And I think that in that terms, women have an advantage, at least from, how society is performing at the moment. And we should be using that for the betterment. So it was just amazing to look at these women and see, how they can support each other, and how they were learning from each other.
And in fact, they thought you were amazing too. You had incredible feedback. For example, I quote, superb, super interesting and relevant. And you are a great, inspiring speaker full of brilliant statements. So I think we've already heard that in the short time we've heard you this morning. Now, these training sessions were actually tailor-made to the needs of the different profiles we had in the first cohort. So from entrepreneurs to researchers aspiring to a leadership role, in combination with the network events, which of course were very important. I think I'd like to bring back our other speakers now. Can we bring back Maria and Klaus? Okay, great. And there's Maria, because I wanted to ask you, Maria, what did you think about the training and the events as well? And what impact did they have in your journey? We've already heard some of the things that Klaus has brought you. What did these other aspects of the WLP bring for you?
Thank you, Aminda. Yeah, and thank you, Bettina and Selma, for your words and always inspiring. I think the trainings were very well thought, both the order and the topics that were touched. There are things that often we disregard. For instance, as scientists, I had never had training in pitching, and being able to show what you're doing with the right language. Scientists tend to put a lot of graphs and a lot of information, which is absolutely useless because investors just want to know how much money you need, and what are you going to do with it, and how much I'm going to get in return. So for a scientist, this is a completely different view because we just want to talk about our technology, and it's very difficult. But I think maybe some of the most important topics that were touched, and I already mentioned this with working with Klaus, because I was fortunate that he mentioned about where do you want to go in your legacy. This was one of the topics that we had in one of our sessions. And I also think I speak for the other women in the program. Most of us are so focused on our everyday problems and all the little fires that we need to turn off, that we don't actually think about where do we want to go and why. And this session for me was inspiring, because even though I had the luck that someone had already mentioned this to me, the conversation also with the other women, and the realization of, why are we doing this? It's not easy to be an entrepreneur. It's extremely difficult. So why are we waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning and working 14 hours a day? Where do we want to go with our time? And I don't know, it was just so many things. And I feel so fortunate to have been part of this first session, and to meet people like Selma and Bettina. I don't know. I really don't know what else to add that hasn't been said already. I mean, I'm sorry.
No. I mean, that's great feedback, and it's very interesting because I think we all kind of dream to have a moment where we can step back and get a proper view of where we're going, and also assess if where we're going now is still where we want to go, because we may have made the decision ages ago and changed all of that in the meantime. Now I'm going to come to the end of our roundtable debate discussion here by just making the subject a little bit wider and asking everyone the same question. And if we could keep our answers nice and short, please, because we're unbelievably almost coming to the end of our ceremony. And the question is, of course, how would you like to see the future for female leadership and gender equality for female founders in Europe? So Klaus, I'm going to start with you quickly.
Yeah, I have a couple of points I would like to make. One is the why are we doing this? Why are we trying to develop female leadership in business needs to be emphasized more. Selma talked about it briefly, and there's so much in terms of diversity, better innovation, better business success. This is something we need to communicate strongly. And secondly, I think, I was really shocked when I heard Joanna say 5% leadership in tech is women. So 95% is men. And Bettina talked about male dominance. We need to get the men involved. The ones that are already convinced need to be ambassadors for the other ones. They need to convince the other ones, because the influence of female traits will only start to make a real difference if it's more than 30% representation, not 5, not 10, not 1 in 10. It needs to be higher up. So we need to work on the men and have them involved in convincing, and then have the convinced ones help, so that we get to 50-50 at some point.
Thank you. Selma, the same question for you.
I would like to just state something. It's never been a better time to be an entrepreneur than today, and it's never been that easy. And it's never been a better time to be a woman than today. And I do believe that this is a winning formula, and I would like the women around to embrace and love this opportunity and go for it.
Wonderful. Thank you. Very inspiring. What about you, Bettina?
Well, to me, it's totally clear that there's absolutely no reason why it shouldn't be completely 50-50, and we just need to get there. And Selma's point is so important. It's never been, and I think one thing to add there, it's never been as risk-free. It's really not very risky right now to set up a company because there's so much opportunity out there, there's so much money out there. You can get yourself a salary pretty quickly. So yeah, go for it, jump in, great opportunity.
Sounds like a very unique moment, actually. It's not often that you hear all these factors combining in a positive way. And last but not least, Maria.
I would probably say control your future. Many of us as women, and we have challenges often that are slightly different. Having a family, taking care of elderly in our family, trying to control work and professional and personal life. When you become an entrepreneur, you decide how your life is going to be. So you don't depend on someone saying, no, you can't grow anymore because you need to leave at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You decide how you use your time and how your team also uses their time. So you have an opportunity to create a new world with the rules that you think are fair for everyone, not only yourself as a woman, but also for your team, being a woman or a man. Everyone needs time for their personal life. And I think we can all dedicate our time to work and to ourselves as we see fit. And this is something as an entrepreneur, you can also actually decide. So I would say, how do you want to live in your future?
Gosh, right. Well, that is that's an incredible message to take forward. Thank you to all of our speakers for sharing their thoughts and their anecdotes and also their knowledge. It's been a great round table. I'm going to release you now, but please do stay online and follow the last few moments of our awards ceremony. Just wait for everyone to switch off. So to further celebrate the achievements of the bold 50 participants of the first cohort of the EIC Women Leadership Programme, I now have the pleasure of welcoming Jean-David Malot, the Director of the European Innovation Council and SME Executive Agency, ASME. Hello, Jean-David, and welcome to our awards ceremony. And now I'm going to pass it over to you to give your address to the selected 50 women innovators from the first cohort of the programme.
Thanks a lot, and good morning, Aminda, and good morning to everybody. It's a real pleasure for me to be with you for this ceremony. I have to say that it was more than a great moment this morning, with especially in the previous roundtable, great and inspiring messages. Maybe you remember that I was invited 6 months ago to welcome you already as the ESMIA director to this program created by the European Innovation Council, whose purpose was, as you know, to increase the entrepreneurial skills and foster connection of our female beneficiaries. And I'm very happy to be back today, and first of all, to congratulate you for the work and the efforts. Thank you very much. Thank you to the participants. Thank you to the mentors. Let's be clear, you made it, we made it collectively, and it's a great achievement. Of course, it's just a beginning, but it will not be a drop in the ocean. I mean, of course, 6 months might not be enough. It's clearly not enough to achieve the desired objectives that we have. But I think it's a real turning point for change. And I hope that the learnings and the advices that you have received during this program will have a long-lasting positive impact in your career. Allow me to pass a number of messages at the end of this ceremony. It's clear, and it was recalled by a number of speakers today, that increasing gender diversity in our community is a clear business case. And it's important, I think, to recall and to repeat again and again this. With more women in business, companies develop more innovative products and services, align their offer to the whole society, and increase their profit. I mean, we have now data about it, and we have to look at the reality. Increased gender diversity is a necessity now, let's be clear, for our economy, and in particular for the benefit in this context of our startup and SMEs to succeed. So Europe needs more women in the economy, more gender equality in research and innovation to keep pursuing excellence in research and innovation and achieving, of course, higher economic impact. And we could miss out the upcoming opportunity if half of our population is overlooked as a source of innovation and creative talent. And if you think about it, not using the opportunity provided by half of our population is just absolutely crazy. So in this context, the EIC Women Leadership Programs comes in a moment where and it was recalled by a number of previous speakers, nevertheless are not looking so good for women in tech, and it's just far from the reality. 3/4 of startups in Europe are funded by men. 8% are funded by all-women teams only. I don't even want to talk about fundraising because the numbers are just outrageous. And this lack of diversity, of course, translates into low amount of capital invested, as it was recalled often, even in the last roundtable. So this is why, in particular, in the European Innovation Council, I have the chance to lead. We realized that it was absolutely necessary to come with fast, targeted, innovative, and complementary actions to support women. And the Women Leadership Program was one of this initiative. We wanted a program that could provide support beyond funding, because funding is absolutely key, but of course is not enough. We wanted a program to raise awareness, to enrich leadership-specific knowledge, to connect business support networks, and to provide specific mentoring and coaching opportunities for EIC female leaders to become, in fact, the next role models of European innovators. We wanted a program that could offer the support and expertise needed to the prospective female leader to thrive and lead the future European research and innovation landscape. And I hope that you feel that the program has delivered these results to you. And from the experience of the first cohort, of course, we will work to fine-tune the service provided, because we are aware that certainly we have a number of things that could be improved, because our ambition is clear. We want to become a reference program in the deep tech support field. But the EIC does not stop there. To support women innovators, we launch a number of other actions, and I just want to quote a number of them. First, we have increased our support to another initiative that we launched last year, which is the Women Tech EU. So we will increase our support to this program, which is providing 75,000 grant to women-led early-stage startup. We will increase our support from 2 million in 2021 to 10 million in 2022. We believe also that in order to have a good monitoring of the situation, it's important, if we want to identify gender and diversity gaps and encourage diversity within company, to have an innovation gender and diversity index. And we get the approval of the member states in our program committee to launch its initiative in 2022. And this innovation gender and diversity index will provide us with consistent information that we will be able to share with investors, funders, customers, and policymakers, and will allow us also to take appropriate action and to adjust some of the actions that we have taken. We have launched, maybe you certainly remember, in the context of the EIC pilot, what I have called myself positive action, because at a certain moment you need to have positive action if you want to create a shock, a change in the market. And you certainly remember that we have decided, for example, in the context of the EIC Accelerator pilot, to invite within the excellent proposal who passed the first step of our evaluation process, at least 20% of the companies invited to interviews, to final interviews that must be led by a women CEO or equivalent. And in 2022, we are continuing with this objective by having introduced, in fact, the selection of EIC Transition Project, which is a new type of schemes that we have introduced in 2021 that have the purpose to make the link between lab to fab in particular. And there we will target to interview 30% of women-led projects who will, of course, meet all the excellent criteria. And last but not least, we have decided to expand again the Women Innovator Prize that we launched already several years ago. And in 2022, our edition will include 2 additional prizes for innovators that are under 35 years. So in order to promote, in fact, young women innovators even more. But we are well aware that we cannot do everything by ourselves. All challenges, and more importantly, also women empowerment in this context, require collaboration with key stakeholders from the entire innovation ecosystem. We cannot work in isolation. We have to work with all the relevant stakeholders that exist on the market. In this regard, I am extremely proud of the EIC Women Leadership Program's ambition to connect numerous enablers of women entrepreneurship active across Europe to first support our participants and broaden their networks. It's something that is very, very, very important in order to open up services to other prospective female entrepreneurs and to exchange, for example, good practices in support of women entrepreneurship. While I'm really happy to see that the network of enabling organization is getting broader, yet better connected, I'm also proud to tell you that ESMEA was the executive agency that we have created a year ago. I mean, we are celebrating our first anniversary, is already successfully collaborating with many partners on other initiatives. And let me mention some of example of these types of collaborations that will contribute also to our objective to support women entrepreneurs. First, the Enterprise Europe Network under the COSME pillar of the Single Market Program is a flagship, as you know, initiative, and clearly the world's largest support network for SMEs with international ambitions in more than 60 countries. And within the EN, I would like to highlight the sector group Women Entrepreneurship that strongly support women entrepreneurs in finding clients and partners. EN is also playing one of the key roles in supporting the EIC specifically in the area of women entrepreneurs by providing them with support to submit high-quality EIC accelerator proposal. It's one of the intermediaries with whom we are working for this purpose. And in this context, a very important part of supporting women entrepreneurs is also the WeGate platform, a European women entrepreneurship community of practice, which has now today 2,000 members from 43 different countries in the EU and beyond. And this is something that you should not forget to have access and to be used for your needs. Allow me also to insist on another cooperation that we have substantially increased and that we will continue to develop this year and next years, which is our cooperation with our sister or our brother, which is the European Institute of Technology, the EIT, where we have established a memorandum of understanding whose purpose is clearly to collaborate on a number of issues and topics where we are complementary, and in particular to provide top services and opportunities for our entrepreneur, and very particularly women entrepreneur. We have even gone beyond our collaboration, as I am happy to announce today that the second cohort of the Women Leadership Program will be open also to EIT companies. I mean, at the end of the day, a startup doesn't care if the support is provided by the EIC or by the EIT. What is important is that as public body, we are providing the necessary support to our innovators. So to conclude, because we have nevertheless, despite the very great interest of this kind of ceremony, we have a time schedule to respect. Just want to tell you that at the European Innovation Council, we hear your demands. You are our eyes and our ears, and we want to hear from you how the program you have just completed can be improved and reinforced. Please do not hesitate to share this with us. It's very important for us to continue to improve ourselves and to be at your service. And I want to conclude expressing again my gratitude to all of you, participants, members, organizers of this ceremony, for believing in the program and made it a reality. So thank you again, and see you in the launch of the second Women Leadership Program cohort. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for those words, Jean-David. And it is, of course, crazy that we are not exploiting the skills and abilities of half the population, as you just said. Now, please do stay with us and follow us for the ceremony's final message from the European Commissioner for Innovation, Research, Culture, Education and Youth, Maria Gabriel.
Dear friends, I'm so happy to be with you today and to have the opportunity to congratulate you for taking part in the first round of the European Innovation Council's Women Leadership Program. During the last 6 months, you attended 8 training sessions and participated in 5 networking events. You also had the opportunity to have a business coach supporting you and giving you new ideas and avenues of action. And you also had mentors sharing their experience of walking the path before you. To all our dedicated mentors, thank you. You have put at the service of the participants your life experience, and you have generously shared your advice. Please share your feedback with my team so we can fine-tune and improve where needed for the next round of Amazing Women. For me, the goal is clear. By the end of this decade, Europe will have to be the continent with the most women-led companies. We have set up several complementary actions to achieve a European innovation ecosystem that uses women's leadership talent and innovation potential. Allow me to mention a few. Last year, I launched the first Women Tech EU funding scheme, with dedicated funding for women-led startups and the opportunity to take part in the second round of the Women Leadership Program. We received applications from almost 400 women-led startups from 37 countries. Their startups and spin-offs are cutting-edge and highly disruptive, covering a wide range of markets. This first Women Tech EU call was a pilot and small scale, but from this year on, it will be a fully fledged, recurring call, and we expect to fund 130 women-led deep tech companies. The Women Tech EU is not the only scheme women innovators can apply to. You are the proof of that. Since 2020, the percentage of women-led startups receiving EIC funding has increased from 8% to 29%. This year, I want at least 40% of the startups we fund to be led by women like you. The Women Innovators Prize will also award 3 prizes to young innovators under 35, this year to celebrate and encourage our young talents. Our new social media campaign, She You Leads, is also about putting in the spotlight the journeys and achievements of young women and girls. It features video messages from more than 50 young women across the EU, sharing their missions and advice to others who want to follow a similar path. Please help us spread the word about these initiatives, and please act as ambassadors for the Women Leadership Programme. I hope you will continue to connect with and support other women innovators, investors and company founders across European innovation ecosystems. I will conclude by saying that you are pioneers in this programme. I firmly believe we need more women role models to inspire our girls and show them that no challenge is too big to overcome. Please keep on going. I look forward to hearing about your successes. Thank you.
Thank you. That was certainly a very powerful message from Commissioner Gabriel. And I believe that I speak on behalf of the 50 participants of the great EIC initiative that is the Women Leadership Programme, and also as a woman myself, when I say that we appreciate your kind and inspiring words. Now, to conclude this amazing awards ceremony, I would like to officially invite you all to attend the launch event of the next cohort of this skills enhancement programme, which will be held in May. Stay tuned for more details. So if you're a researcher aspiring to a leadership position, don't miss this opportunity and apply to join the second cohort of the programme. We're going to leave a link in the YouTube chat box for you to see how you can apply. And of course, we would also very much appreciate your feedback about this specific event. And if you could give us your comments in the satisfaction survey, the link is also being posted in the YouTube chat for you all to access easily. And a warm thanks from my side to all the inspiring speakers who joined this award ceremony today. They've certainly given us all plenty of food for thought. And thanks to the team who put this event together, the technical team behind the scenes, the Commission, the colleagues from the European Innovation Council, and of course, a big thank you to you, the audience, for your input and for following us today. Last but certainly not least, congratulations to the 50 ladies for concluding the first cohort. As they say in my part of the world, ad maiora, always onwards to greater and better things.